Hey everybody, this is a 60-minute Vinyasa class that will move towards Bakasana Crane Pose. It's an arm balance. And you don't need anything really. If you have a yoga mat, use it. If you have a carpet, it might be nice because we're actually going to roll back and forth. You don't have to do the rolling if you don't want to, if it's too much on your on the bony parts of your back. We'll start lying down on our back with the feet at the front of the mat. Bend your knees and place your feet onto the floor, the bottoms of your feet, and walk your legs all the way together. So it's like you make one leg instead of two. Ankles connected, knees connected. And then reach your arms up towards the ceiling up above your eyes and extend your wrists. Make your arms very strong and flip your palms up towards the ceiling if you don't know what wrist extension is. And then pull your outer shoulders off the floor so that you protract your shoulders and you round your upper back. And then really go for it. Try and bring the back of your hands as close towards your face as you can, to the point where you feel that there's a contraction going on the back of your forearms. So active wrist extension. And then fold your thumbs into your palms. Wrap your forefingers around your thumbs and flex your wrists. So do the opposite. Move the back of your hands away from your head. Think of moving your knuckles forward towards your knees. Keep pulling your outer shoulders off the floor. And really, really go for it. Stretch the back of your wrists. And then release that and just grab opposite elbows with your palms. So right grabs left, left grabs right. Make it so your right forearm is in front. And then slowly let your arms go up and back behind your head and keep gripping your elbows just as you are. And if that's too much and your elbows don't actually reach the floor, let your arms go off to the sides of the room like a T. Then squeeze your inner legs tightly together. Push through the four corners of each one of your feet. And start to move your tailbone forward so much that your bum starts to lift right up off the ground. And then scoop it more until slowly more and more of your back comes off the ground. Think of rounding your spine instead of back bending like we do a lot in yoga. This will be more about your inner thighs and your glutes, your butt. So make it a butt bridge. Push your feet down, squeeze your legs together. Move your tailbone forward strongly. And then keep all that, but start to drag your heels back isometrically. So they won't move, but there'll be an action there. And you'll feel a tone on the back of your legs. And then from your top back, slowly start to land like you're punching one vertebra in the floor one at a time, the one below it, then the one below it, then the one below it. Like you could truly segment down and see if you can actually land your low back before your bum, which is tricky for me and a lot of folks, I think. And then keep your arms the same, but bring your knees in towards your chest, nice and close. Keep gripping your elbows and lift everything up and hook your arms around your shins into a hug. So you can keep holding your elbows, hopefully. And then think of lifting your bum up higher and your shoulders up higher so you really round your spine. Tuck your chin in and start to move laterally to the sides very slowly. So go to the left and go to the right and still stabilize in this like really tight-knit ball, and see how far you can eventually incrementally go further and further to the sides. And just know that you gotta have reversibility. You gotta be able to come back up so you don't get stuck on the sides. Maybe you roll over and you kind of like wipe out and you just come back in, and that's absolutely fine. It happened to me last time I was doing this. Okay, come on back to the center. Keep your arms the same still, but stretch your left leg out in front of you. So free up your left leg and hover it about 1 inch off the ground. Scoop your tailbone forward and pull your shoulders even higher off the floor. And then start to do little baby hovers and pulses of your left leg up and down. So at first it's a little bit less challenging, but we'll do this. Keep nice and high, shoulders stay way off the floor, and reach your arms forward. And then feel like you're pressing your thigh into your chest and your chest into your thigh at the same time. You'll feel a little bit more effort involved. Keep that, keep your shoulders nice and high. Start to bring your arms back behind you. And then bring your leg up, your left leg up, and bring your arms up. Let's do that just 2 more times. Left leg forward, arms back, shoulders stay high. Leg goes up, arms go up, shoulders stay high. Last one, bring your leg forward, bring your arms back, and hold it for a second as you straighten your right leg. Woo. And then interlace your fingers on the back of your calf and slowly let your head rest down to the floor finally. And if you need to slip your hands down towards your knee, that's absolutely fine. If your shoulders are off the floor a little bit, that's cool. Point your right foot up towards the ceiling. Find a good amount of plantar flexion, so do that actively. Point it as much as you can. And then actively do the opposite action. So bring your toes and your ankle towards you and feel the back of your calf probably stretching a bunch. I like the cue of move the back of the heel up more. And then bend your elbows and pull your shoulders off the floor again. And as you pull your leg in with the strength of your arms, resist that by pressing your shin forward into your hands. So you tone the musculature at the same time as you stretch it. And then while you're up there, grab the outside of your right foot with your right hand and come into a half happy baby. And then reach up with your left hand and grab the heel of the same foot. So you kind of double grab your foot. Let your right knee move off to the side. So turn the right kneecap to the right. Then bend your elbows and pull your inner foot down towards your chest or your chin or your forehead. Maybe it's even like down by your stomach. Absolutely fine. But just get a nice big stretch on the outside of your thigh. It's kind of like you're doing pigeon on your back. You can stretch the arms straight up again and release the foot like further away from your head, and then bend your elbows again. Keep holding the foot and pull it down. Do this kind of pumping or piston action to get some maneuvering in the leg. It feels really nice. And then bring the soles of your feet together and let your knees splay off to the side. So come into Supta Bakasana. Reach your arms up towards the ceiling. Flip your palms up towards the sky. So do handstand hands or Bakasana hands. And really go for it. It's a really good way to train your musculature in an open chain actively without the help of the floor like we will do in the pose later. But it's good to tone the muscles on their own without any help. And then let's do the opposite. So fold your thumbs into your palms, wrap your 4 fingers around your thumbs, and flex your wrists forward. Grab opposite elbow tips. This time have your left forearm in front. Keep holding your elbows and frame your head by bringing your arms all the way back behind your skull. Remember, you can always just let your arms go off to the side. Okay, this is different, so be cool with different. Move your tailbone forward. Lose any curve in your low back, so smush your low back into the ground. And have a little tone in your belly too. You can even push your elbows into the floor as a little helping anchorage in your arms. Okay, keep that action and slowly start to float your bum up off the floor. Think that you're going to segment off the ground with your spine. And as your tail goes forward, widen your knees still. And then you're going to slowly bring your right shin all the way over to the right until your outer right knee lands on the ground. So your entire outer shin's on the ground to the side. And then keep your hips high and start to push your outer right shin really strongly into the floor. So you feel your outer butt contract. And then slowly control yourself back up, balancing on the outsides of your feet. Keep your booty nice and high and start to bring your left shin all the way over towards the left and land your outer left shin on the floor. Press it into the floor. And keep a little tone in your belly. And then slowly come on back up. And can you segment down from the top back landing? Punch 1 vertebra in the floor at a time. Slowly round down, top to back. Try to land your lumbar spine, your low back, before your bum does. Keep your arms, bring your knees into your chest. Lift your shoulders, hug yourself. Reach your arms up and around your shins. And this time, with no momentum, start to slowly roll forward and back. but no momentum at first. So just round yourself so much that you can actually control the movements forward and backwards. It can be like a good amount of tummy work. And then keep your arms the same, but just free up your right leg forward and hover it about an inch off the floor. Notice if you're back bending, round your back into the floor. Keep that and start to do these little hovers, these little pulses with your right leg. And then pause that, lift your shoulders higher on purpose, and then reach your arms forward. So now you don't have the passive lever, you can't use your hands, you've just got your abdominal muscles. Keep your shoulders high, reach your arms back behind you. Remember, we're only doing 3 of these. Bring your right leg up, bring your arms up, reach everything up. Right leg forward, arms back. Right leg up, arms up, lift. Even think of lifting your butt up. And then right leg forward, arms back, pause. Stretch your left leg up towards the ceiling and interlace your fingers on the back of your left calf, and then let your right heel land, let your head land. And also be cool with letting your hands slip down lower towards your knee. All good. And then point your left toes very strongly and pull your heel up very strongly. So when you pull your foot towards you, that's called dorsiflexion. When you point the foot up, that's called plantar flexion. So dorsiflex and plantar flex, and do it actively. Do it as far as you can up and as far as you can down, as long as you are out of the kind of the pain territory. You feel a big stretch in the back of your calf when you dorsiflex. Maybe a big contraction on the bottom of your foot when you plantar flex. And then keep holding your leg and bring yourself up. So your shoulders lift, your elbows can bend. Start to pull the leg in a bit, don't overdo it, and push your leg forward into your hands. There's this resistance. You're toning the musculature in a stretched out position, the back of your legs, getting strong in a long position. And then while you're up there, grab the outside of your foot with your left hand, and then come on down and come into a half happy baby, but just really for a transition. Reach up with your right hand, grab your heel, turn your left kneecap to the left, then start to bend your elbows and pull your inner foot towards your chest, your nose, your forehead, your belly button, whatever works for your body. And then you can pump it a few times, let the arms go straight so the leg goes away from you. Bend your elbows, pull the foot towards you. Straighten and bend. Or maybe you're just static and that's all good. Maybe you're doing something else, all good. Okay, keep holding your foot as you are in a half happy baby, but come into a full happy baby. So grab your other foot too. And then place the bottoms of your feet together. So again, you're in this Bakasana shape. Keep that, keep the bottoms of your feet touching. Bend your elbows off to the sides, and then lift your shoulders up, lift your head up, lift everything up, and hook your armpits on the midline of your shins. Try and walk your armpits up higher and higher towards your ankles. And then squeeze your knees into your side ribs, and then free up your arms forward. So you went into Malasana on your back, and now you're in Bakasana on your back. Extend your wrists. Try and bring the back of your hands as close to you as you can. Then re-grab the outsides of your feet. Do Bakasana again on your back. And this time, use some momentum to rock and roll back and forth and come up into a seated position. I'm going to turn towards you, but you don't have to move. So bring your feet a little bit further away from you maybe. Further in is harder, so if you like that and you have that mobility, then awesome, good for you. Take your hands off to the sides, nice and wide, and flatten your right palm. I'll mirror you. Flatten your right palm. And then bring your outer right shin all the way down to the ground. You can take an even wider stance with your right hand. Then take your left hand, your free hand, and move your inner left knee away from you. And then keep that and turn your torso, twist your ribs and your chest towards the right. move the inner left knee away from you as you pull your chest in the opposite direction. Oh, that feels good. Okay, and then come on back up and take your left hand way off to the side, roll over onto your outer left shin, and place your right hand on the inside of your right knee and move it away from you. And then turn your ribs in the opposite direction towards your left. And even here, when you move the knee wide to the side, you can still be pressing your inner knee into your palm. So again, you're strengthening the same tissue on the inside of the leg at the same time as you stretch it. Okay, do down dog. And place yourself well on your mat. And find your inner hands, press them down. Wrap your outer shoulders back. Bend your knees a little bit just for a second and start to lift the bottom of your bum way up into the air. And keep your butt lifted as much as you can and straighten your legs. Re-straighten your legs. You don't have to, but you could. Walk your hands back to your feet. Bend your knees a lot. Let your head hang. And slowly roll yourself up and come into a chair pose. And then wrap your right arm underneath your left arm and do eagle, but just in your arms. Then lift your elbows up towards the ceiling, find a back bend, extend your spine, and keep that for as long as you can as you fold down over your legs and plug your armpits right into your kneecaps. Let your head kind of hang down, rest in your arms. And then keep your arms crossed, but let go of your wrists and grab opposite outer ankles. So the right grabs the left grabs the right. Land it nice and low down the lowest part of your shins. And then reach your right arm to the ceiling and twist your body to the right. Keep your left knee hugged into your armpit and see how straight you can get your right leg. And then there's a back bend in the posture. You pull your heart forward towards the front of your yoga mat. You stretch the two sides of your neck long, and then you twist further around that space. Turn your left ribs to your right ribs, lift your right shoulder up nice and high. And then flip your right palm forward towards the front of the room, reach your arm all the way forward, swim it forward and grab the outside of your left ankle again. Bend your knees and slowly roll yourself up. Reach your arms up towards the sky. Wrap your left arm underneath your right arm. Lift your elbows up as high as you can. Bend your knees nice and deep. Back bend. And then fold down over your legs and stuff your armpits right into your kneecaps. And kneecaps right into your armpits, vice versa. Let your head hang. Let your back round. Keep your arms crossed, but undo your wrists and grab opposite outer ankles. Look like a little pretzel. And then reach your left arm up towards the ceiling and twist towards your left. Keep your right knee hugged into your armpit and see how straight you can get your left leg. Find the back bend first, pull your heart forward, get spacious in your spine, pull your neck super long, and then turn your right ribs to your left ribs. And flip your left palm forward. Reach all the way forward like you're swimming in a pool and grab the outside of your right ankle. Bend your knees and fold over yourself. Walk your hands all the way forward and come into a plank. Bring your feet together to touch, just like we did in our bridges. So you'll do plank with your legs together. Squeeze your inner legs together. And then start to bend your knees and lift your bum way up into the air. So it's almost like you're doing this variation of a cow pose first. Pull your heart forward. And then start to press your hands forward so much that it brings you back into a down dog with your butt all popped up in the air. Then in your down dog, tuck your tailbone, bring your ribs in, pull your shoulder blades apart and look in at your groin. Keep rounding your spine and roll yourself forward into a plank. And at the very last second, let your head go forward, let your chest go forward a bit. Stay here for a second, bend your knees, same thing, pop your butt up, we'll do it a little bit faster, press your hands forward and go back into a down dog. Roll yourself forward, come into a plank, let your chest come forward, bend your knees, pop your butt up, press your hands forward and come on back into a down dog. Same but different. Roll yourself forward, come into a plank. This time bend your knees but keep them hovering about an inch off the ground. Push your hands down, drag them together. Drag your hands back, drag your toes forward. None of those body parts move, but you'll feel a little something. And then bring your knees down so you'll be in a long tabletop. Come into a cow pose, arch your spine. Notice if you overdo that in your neck. Round your spine, come into a cat pose. Really wrap your tailbone down, press your hands down, tuck into a little ball. Stay rounded and come into a plank. And then let your chest go forward. Bring your right knee into your heart and round your spine. Find down dog split. Lift the right leg up. And step right in between your two hands. Come into a supported warrior 3. Lift your left leg up into the air. And then bend your right knee a little bit, the standing leg. Tack your outer right hip back. And really push into your right foot and re-straighten the leg, if you want to. And then use your left butt cheek to pull the whole left leg up higher into the air. Bend both your knees and curl into a little ball. Push all the weight into your right foot and float your left leg out in front of you through what we'll call a pistol squat, because I guess it's called a pistol squat. Wrap your arms around your right shin. Grab opposite elbows just like we were doing before. And purposely, to make it a little bit more challenging, step your right foot further forward about halfway. So your foot is next to your knee. And then point your left toes, lean forward, squeeze your leg for dear life with your arms, and lift your left leg as high as you can get it. So hip flexion, active hip flexion, it's meant to be a little bit arduous and challenging. So get it higher than you think you can go, and we'll do 10 pulses. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and bring it down. And then stretch your right leg out in front of you, so both the backs of your legs are on the floor. Take your hands behind you and turn your fingers outwards to 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock. And then take your feet on the floor. Just bend your knees enough that you can get your feet to land. Push into your hands and lift your pelvis up into the air and do Parsvakonasana Variation. Reverse tabletop. Push into your feet, push into your hands. Feel like you're trying to drag your heels back even though they don't move, and scoop your tailbone forward. Get long through your neck. Bring your bum down onto the floor. Grab the back of your legs with your hands. Lean back just enough for your feet to actually come off the floor, and then stretch your legs to straight-ish. And pull your legs enough that you can actually lift your chest up. It will feel like a back bend, but you'll probably come just into a neutral position. Do Bakasana Variation. And then keep holding your legs, tuck into a little ball, so tuck your chin in, and roll back, and roll forward. And roll back, and roll forward. And on your third attempt, come into a chair pose. Land your feet, reach your arms up towards the ceiling. And then reach your arms back behind you and interlace your fingers. You don't have to do that. Pull your fists down and your heart up. Fold down over your legs. Bow to your head. And then bend your elbows a little bit. Lift your shoulders up away from the ground. And then see if you can straighten your arms with your shoulders up, set like that. Ooh. Okay, bend your knees, pull your heart forward. Lift your left heel up in the air, so all the weight goes onto your right foot. And slow step your left foot all the way to the back of your mat. When you land, bring your fingertips down onto the floor and move towards straightening your right leg, and it doesn't have to straighten. I'm going to change my orientation so you can see better if you're looking. Roll onto the outside of your right foot. So no sickling in your inner right ankle. So move your inner right ankle towards the left, but keep the knee widening off to the side. And then bring your back knee down, keep everything the same. but slowly bring your left butt cheek back as far as it goes without moving your fingers. So keep your fingers plugged and stretch your left butt back like you would in a half Hanumanasana. You're still on the outside of your right foot. Your knee's still trying to find the right side of the room. And you'll notice that the stretch changes on the outside of the right leg. And then very little changes. Just shift your hips back to where they were originally. And then start to walk your hands over towards your left. Flatten your left palm. Place your right hand on the inside of your leg, on the inside of your right leg, and move the knee away from you at the same time. So as you move the knee away from you, think of pressing the knee back into your hand. And then you can back bend, you can lift your heart up, spread your shoulders from right to left. And then let your right hand, keep it on the leg, but let your right hand slip down all the way to your shin, down by your ankle, and re-flatten your right foot. And re-straighten your back leg. And then turn your legs into warrior two legs. So turn your left toes to the left, and then keep your right arm inside your leg and reach your left arm forward. Find Parsvakonasana Variation. Stamp through your feet. Wrap your outer right hip down strongly. And feel like there's a twist in this pose. So wrap the right side of your torso to the left side of your torso. And from your back foot grounded, reach the left arm as far forward as you can get it. And then take your hands down onto the floor. Pause. Tuck up onto your back toes. Again, flatten your left hand. Reach your right arm up towards the ceiling. Turn your 10 toes towards the right side of the room. And step your right foot back so it's on top of the other one. Or keep your feet separated. So you're gonna side plank. Again, I'm gonna change my orientation. Do your yummiest side plank, whatever works for you. I love flipping the right palm forward towards the front of the room, reaching the arm all the way forward, and then lifting the outer right hip up. And then take your two hands down onto the floor, come into a plank pose. Bring your knees down onto the ground, and move yourself past Chaturanga Dandasana. Slip into a very small Cobra, pull your heart forward and up, and pause. Make sure your pubis, your tailbone is dug into the floor. And then take your hands off the ground. Pause and hover them as best you can. And try and find that active wrist extension that we were doing on our back. So lift the back of your hands really strongly towards your wrists. And then take your hands down onto the floor, float your chest a little bit, push yourself back into a down dog. Bring your feet together in down dog. Move your tailbone down strongly, corset your stomach in, round your shoulder blades apart, look into your body. And then you roll forward into a plank. You let the chest unfurl forward. Bend your knees, pop your butt up, press your hands forward, press back into a down dog. Let's do one more. Roll yourself forward. Bend your knees, pop your butt up, press your hands forward, down dog. Roll yourself forward, come into a plank. Hover your knees about an inch off the ground. Squeeze your legs together, find the midline. Feel like your hands are also trying to drag together. Drag your hands back and your toes forward isometrically, and feel that that is a lot of work. And then land your knees down. Your tabletop will be a long tabletop. Start to round your back, lift your bum up, let your chest go forward, get super long in your neck, and then do the opposite. Roll your tailbone down strongly, zip your belly up and in, let your head hang. Stay rounded, straighten your legs, plank, let your heart go forward. Bring your left knee into your chest, let the heart go in. Down dog split, lift your left leg up. Step your foot right dab in between your two hands, find a lunge. Walk your fingertips forward, come into a supported warrior three. So, bend your left knee. Wrap your outer left hip back. And then push so strong into your left foot, the leg maybe straightens, and you feel that your outer left hip is hugging towards the right. Outer hip should be burning with these poses. And then use your right butt cheek to lift your right leg higher. Bend both your knees, curl into a little ball. Hold it for a second, look forward. Start to stretch your right leg out in front of you and move through a pistol squat. Hug your left leg with your arms, grab opposite elbows like we've been doing in other variations, and step your left foot forward so it's about the midline of your leg, right around your shin. Stay leaning forward. Leaning back makes it easier, make it challenging. Point your right toes and lift your right leg up. And I always say that there's a barrier you can break. Like there's a ceiling where you think you have to stop. Go a little bit past the ceiling and stay up there for 10 pulses. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And bring it down. That's done. For the whole sequence, that's done. Bring your left leg out in front of you as well. So your legs are straight on the floor. Take your hands behind you with your fingertips pointing out to the sides. Bend your knees just a little bit so you can get your feet flat on the floor and lift your bum up. Feet plug. Drag your heels back isometrically. Tone the back of your legs. Move your tailbone forward. Press your hands and lift your heart slightly. Your neck is super long and spacious. Then land your bum. Grab the back of your legs. Float your feet off the floor. Straighten your legs, which will most likely try and round your upper back. Like one action will affect the other part of the body. So don't let that happen to you. Pull your legs in with your arms, lift your chest up, and then try and keep the back bend, but reach your arms all the way forward. And then grab your hamstrings, bend your knees, tuck into a ball, and roll back, and roll forward, and roll back, and roll forward. Third time, chair pose. Roll all the way up, come into Utkatasana. Reach your arms back behind you and interlace your fingers with the left thumb on top. Pull the fist down, lift your heart up, back bend, and then fold down over your legs. Keep your stomach resting on your thighs. Keep your head hanging, you can even shake it out. And then bend your elbows a little bit. Lift your shoulders up away from the ground. Keep that and re-straighten your arms. And then come halfway up with your heart. Lift your right heel up and slow step your right foot all the way to the back of your mat. Bring your fingertips down to the floor to frame your front foot and straighten your front leg. Again, just changing so you can see it if you're looking. Roll onto the outside of your left foot. So it's kind of like a pigeon lunge, some type of hybrid. Try to make it so that your left ankle is not sickling. It's not too inverted. Evert your ankle, which is basically bring your inner left ankle down towards the floor. So you see no wrinkles on the inside of your ankle. And then keep that and just bring your back knee on the floor. You can keep the back toes tucked and start to bring your right hip back towards your heel. In that direction, but don't feel like you have to go all the way back there. Now your left leg's still in that kind of pigeon leg, or it looks like more like a Tarasana leg now. And you'll feel the stretch different. And then just shift your hips forward, don't change much. Just walk your hands over towards the right a bunch. Plant your right palm down onto the floor flat, and then take your left hand on the inside of your thigh, on the inside of the left thigh. And grab the fleshy part of your inner leg and move it away from your body, like you're trying to stretch your adductors. But at the same time, press your knee back up into your hand. And then you can extend the spine. Lift your heart up, make it a back bend. So it's a lunge, it's a thigh stretch, it's an outer hip stretch, it's a back bend. There's a little twist going on. It's like a Swiss Army knife. And then you can keep your left hand on your thigh, slip it all the way down your shin towards your ankle, and flatten your front foot. So the bottom of the foot goes on the ground. Then keep your back toes tucked, straighten your back leg, and turn your right toes all the way to the right. So your legs look like a warrior two leg. Now it's a Parsvakonasana. Bring your right arm forward. Push your feet down. Move your outer left hip down strongly. And then from the back foot, weighted, reach the right arm as high as you can go, or as far forward as you can go, I should say. And remember, there's a twist in it. Turn around yourself. turn up towards the reaching arm. And then look down, take your right hand down onto the floor, spin onto your back toes, turn your 10 toes all the way to the left, and you choose your own side plank. You could have your feet beside each other. You could have one foot stacked on top of the other. You choose. If you want to flip the palm forward, reach the arm all the way over your head, and then lift the outer left hip up, you can side bend. And then find plank. Take your hands down to the floor, bring your knees down for a second. Slowly come past Chaturanga Dandasana. Pull your heart forward and up. And then press back into a downward facing dog. This time bring your feet together. Lift your heels up nice and high and start to walk your hands back to your feet. Keep your heels lifted, move your knees apart, and then sink your bum down towards your heels. So you find this variation of Malasana. If you can get your heels on the ground, great. If you can't, also great. Lots of things to do. You could stay right here, stay in Malasana. If this is so hard for you, just separate your feet, turn your toes out to the side, and do a squat that way. You can also take a block underneath your bum if you have it. Otherwise, you can bring your arms back behind you. You can grab your heels with your palms like you've been doing with the palms facing up. You can let your head go. And if you'd like to practice the arm balance, then here we go. Try and get your left tricep as low as you can on the shin. Try and get your right tricep as low as you can on that shin. Take your hands a little bit wider than you think you need to, like as wide as your mat maybe. And then press your shins and your arms against one another and lean forward until your feet float. And maybe they don't float, and that's okay. Keep your feet touching, squeeze your ankles together, squeeze your knees in, and start to straighten your arms. And maybe your knees go a little higher up the armpits, maybe your heels can go a little higher, and eventually just do a forward fold, a standing forward fold at the back of your mat. Maybe let your feet go a little wider. Let your head shake out. If you're in the Malasana squat or in the other squat, you can join us in this fold. Okay, walk forward, come into a plank pose. You can use your knees or you don't have to, but go past Chaturanga Dandasana. So we're still going right to the floor. Baby Cobra, pull your heart forward and up. And then just like we've been doing, make sure your pubis is grounded and stable and float your hands off the floor. This time keep your knees on the ground, but bring your heels towards your bum. And then reach back and grab the outside of your ankles, tuck your toes back into dorsiflexion, ground your pubis, push back into your hands, lift your heart up. And then slowly lie down on your front. Make a little forearm pillow maybe. You can also interlace your fingers and take your forehead on the back of your hands. And then lie down on your back. Bring the soles of your feet on the floor. Grab the sides of your mat with your hands. Press your feet into the ground and lift your bum up off the ground. Now it totally can be a back bend. So tuck your shoulders underneath your chest. And then while you're up there, interlace your 10 fingers underneath your hips and see if you can tuck your shoulders a little bit further underneath you. Recruit your hamstrings, so push your feet into the floor, move your tailbone forward towards your knees, and see if you can access a contraction in your middle back. And then release your hands and slowly bring yourself back down. You can take your feet the width of your mat and let your knees knock in. Encourage your breath to be deeper, more full. Make the exhales longer than the inhales, so it calms you down. And then walk your feet back to hip width distance. Again, grab the sides of your mat with your hands, get a good grip. Push your feet down, lift your bum up nice and high. Tuck your shoulders underneath your chest. Bakasana Variation. And then if you want, interlace your fingers underneath you. Tuck your shoulders underneath you more. So you can stay just like this, or keep your bum nice and high, let go of your hands, and place your palms on the floor next to your face. And then push into your hands and come up onto your head for a second. Bring your elbows a little closer together, don't force that, but roll onto your forehead a little bit and straighten both your arms. Same stuff, push the feet down, drag your heels back towards you, which is a tricky move. Tailbone forward, open up the chest. Let your head just be dead weight, let it go. If you're in bridge and you want to come out, go ahead and come up. When you're ready to come out, look up to the ceiling and come down slowly. Cactus your arms off to the sides. Make it so your elbows are lined up with your shoulders. Bring your legs together again, so feet touch, inner ankles touch, inner knees touch, and just scoot your butt to the right a bunch. So keep your feet where they are, but just move your butt to the right a couple times. Then bring your knees into your chest and let your knees fall all the way over to the left. If you have blocks, you can put blocks in between your thighs and in between your feet. I'm trying to sequence like maybe people don't have props. I love the way that brings you into the twist. If you take your left hand and place it on top of your right thigh, your top thigh, it's a nice way to keep your legs just kind of stable and unmoving so that your upper body is actually free to move a little bit more naturally with the breath. So just by breathing, just by positioning yourself in this position, in this twist, you'll get some action out of the breath. Slowly come on back to the center. Find both your butt cheeks landed on the center of your mat. Walk your legs together if they separated. Pick up your bum, move it to the left. Pick up your bum, move it to the left. Do it a couple times. Bring your knees into your chest. Bring your knees all the way over towards the right. And then if it helps to shimmy your shoulders to the right a bit, so your left shoulder gets down a little bit better, it's okay. And if your shoulder doesn't hit the ground, that doesn't matter at all. You can take your right hand and place it on the outside of your thigh. Let your breath do the moving. Let everything else just hang out. Back to the center. Find both your butt cheeks landed. And stretch your right leg up to the ceiling and interlace your fingers on the back of your leg. And if you can come into a place where your quadriceps can contract, you'll get a little bit more of a release on the full back part of your leg. And also if you press the back of your heel, your right heel up towards the ceiling and pull your toes as close down towards your hip as you can, you'll stretch all the way up into the calf. And bring the foot on the floor. Put your left leg up, interlace your fingers around the back of your leg, straighten your left leg. Contract your left quadriceps if you can, and move the back of your heel up towards the ceiling. Pull the toes down towards your shin. Just bring both your knees into your chest. Give yourself a little hug. If you want to do happy baby, you could do that, like full happy baby. Anything that is really going to kind of calm you down and bring you into that place where you're starting to go in, to rest, to relax. Nothing that's like fetal position or this like rounded position is very insular and introverting. Gets you to calm down pretty quickly. And when you're ready, just lie down on your back. If your butt gets in the way, you can bend your knees for a second, grab your bum and kind of pull it forward, move it away from you so it pacifies your low back, and then you can re-stretch your legs straight. Love that for my body at least. And then with your palms flipped up, you can also tuck your shoulders underneath you just a little bit so that your